to Ryanair. Summer's so close you can almost hear the kids screaming from the pool. Fly to the beaches of Spain, Italy, Portugal or Greece.
Mainly dry tonight with clear spells. Showers developing in the north and northwest overnight. Some will be wintry with snow flurries possible on hills and mountains. Cold with lowest temperatures of -2 to +2 degrees with frost and icy patches developing. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, for an effortless finish to your day. New GilletteUK Labs razor with exfoliating bar.
This is News Talk.
All right, you're welcome along to Thursdays Off the Ball. Nathan with you until 10 o'clock. It is the most wonderful night of the year. It is the Thursday of the Masters, and it's all going along nicely so far, particularly for Tiger Woods, who is out on the course, hasn't played for almost a year and a half. We all know what he's been through at this stage, and he is level par through 10 holes, which is quite miraculous for him, and he's only 2 shots off the lead on the opening day. Really tough scoring at Augusta National. Currently Cam Smith and Joaquin Niemann are the players on top on 2 under par, and they have just been joined there by the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. So starting to heat up on the opening evening. We'll obviously keep you up to date with everything that's happening there over the next 3 hours. I've been told we can't dedicate the full 3 hours to it, but we'll squeeze in as much as we possibly can. We've also got plenty of football coming away. John Giles at 7:30, looking back in the week's Champions League and what the hell is going on at Everton, and with Philippe Auclair as well. He's going to be talking to us about Karim Benzema, the brilliance of Karim Benzema, and also about the latest developments into Manchester City and financial fair play and where they're getting their funding from. So that's coming up on the football show from 9. And Sam Mulroy, who was the top scorer in this season's Allianz Football League, the Louth player, is going to join us in studio after 8 o'clock, heading up to Division 2. They're going to be playing in the All-Ireland Series this year and looking to make an impact on the Leinster Championship as well. We want you to get involved. 53106 is the text number. At Off the Ball is if you want to follow us or get in touch on social. Richie McCormick, good evening.
Nathan, how are you?
I'm very well. The toughest evening of the year for Richie McCormick. Hasn't even bothered putting it on his news round. Joe Malloy, good evening to you.
Hey lads, how you doing?
We should just let Richie off for the evening, really, shouldn't we? It's just going to be ruining our buzz for the next 25 minutes.
Can I point out here which one of the three of us is going to be tethered to the laptop waiting for Rory McIlroy to finish his round tonight? I'll give you a clue. They're not in studio at the minute.
All of us? I won't be tethered to the laptop. I'll be feet up on the couch at home, enjoying every minute of it.
I should have my coffee subsidised here.
Listen, you should be down on your hands and knees thanking those good people at Augusta National that they have provided you with the greatest app in the history of sport, so you can watch every single shot of every single player whenever you want, Richie. That's what you should be doing now.
In fairness, the app is the bee's knees. That's one thing they've gotten absolutely right. But somebody retweeted that video earlier on of the Microsoft head honchos going mental at the launch of one of the Windows programs, saying this is all the dads, the first night of the Masters, and all I could think of was you, pair.
It's fair enough. I'll take it. I'll take the hit. So, Joe, I've been sort of in the office all day. I've been watching as much as I possibly can. I got very excited when Harrington Holt was at a 67-footer. Very early in his round and topped the leaderboard, and he's had a very good first day. There's 7 players tied for the lead at the moment, including the world number 1, including many of the favourites. But really, right now, all I want to know is just how good is Tiger looking?
It's all anyone wants to know. I couldn't watch it all live. I was doing different bits and bobs, but I mean, I came home and I just fast forward through everybody else's shots. You know, he is... He's there, Nathan, in his fluorescent pink and his FootJoys. I mean, I'm getting myself a pink turtleneck in the morning.
It's Azalea, Joe. It's Azalea. You, of all people, should know this.
Oh, correct, yes. Well said, Richie. With his very wide shoulders and what I estimate to be about a 24-inch waist, he just looks fantastic. He's always looked great, Woods. His extraordinary physique. I would say he's moving very well, Nathan. He's walking very comfortably. That's the first thing. I mean, the coverage, by and large...
It's the walking that gets you, isn't it?
It is today. I mean, the footage today, admittedly, it's featured group, so it's not like they're cramming in lots of shots, which is one of the great frustrations, but we'll park that for a moment because at least Woods is in a featured group. But there are lots of shots of Woods walking the fairways, and he looks to be moving very well. Started fine, the typical Woods nervous drive. He overcut his drive, but he got away with it, made par, and he played the first few holes as you would want and as you would expect, which is conservatively in the extreme. And Woods is a conservative golfer. I mean, he produces magic when he has to, but as we know down the years, by nature, especially at majors, he's very conservative. We got the first flash of magic, I would say, on the 4th with a fantastic up and down, brilliant chip. Like, it was a really great chip. He was short and saved his par there. On the 5th, he stitched an iron shot. It was a glorious iron shot. I think potentially he overdid it, overcooked it. He was sort of smiling to his caddy, Joey LaCava. But it left him, I'd say, 8-9 feet for birdie, 10 feet, kind of tricky putt, and it looked gorgeous all the way. His putting has looked fantastic. It looked in all the way, and I don't know what the golfing gods were thinking, but he lipped out. Next hole, the par 3 6th, absolutely stitched it. Absolutely glorious iron shot, kept it low. Rich Beam was saying, oh, look, he can't get through the ball as fast, but he used his hands beautifully, and he left himself, I would say, 3 feet for a tap-in birdie. The place went wild. And so up until the 8th hole, it was pretty much ideal. I mean, there was a double cross on the 9th subsequent to that, and 1 or 2 iffy tee shots, but generally very good. On 7, he overcut a shot into the rough with his tee shot, but made an absolutely amazing par save. You know, played it short of the 7th, chipped it relatively close and made the putt. Just the oddest hole was the par 5/8, which is generally a scoring hole, you know, and he hit a fantastic drive, like a fade, boomed it down the fairway. And the second was interesting because it's an uphill lie, and so all his weight's on his right foot. And Andrew Cotter certainly felt that he couldn't get off his right foot on that uphill lie the way he would like. And so he flared it a bit out to the right. But I mean, often people bail out to the right on 8 anyways, you know. But what was really strange then, after hitting some excellent chip shots previous, is that he just, you couldn't say he duffed it, but he didn't even make the green. And then with his subsequent chip shot, he rolled it by the hole and made a bogey on the 8th, which was not, you know, not great. 9th, he double-crossed himself into the trees, and then, you know, it's that shot up the hill, and he was just short of the green. The chip wasn't amazing again, but man, the putt back was great. The putt for par back was great. So all in all, it's a birdie, it's a bogey, he's level par, but he's moving very well. Off the tee generally has been decent without being spectacular. Iron shot's good, bar those few chip shots, I'd say very tidy, and the putting looks fantastic. But look, we would have taken this. You know, my worry was we'd be coming on here 7 o'clock on the first day and we'd be saying, man, how about that 42 on the front nine? But he's competitive, Nathan. It's not easy out there. He's here. He's making the weekend.
I did not expect this. I don't think there would have been any great shame in Tiger Woods if we were talking about him shooting 42. For people who are coming late to the weekend, who maybe are just deciding on Thursday, I'm going to download that app. I'm going to now think about the Masters. Like, Tiger Woods hasn't played golf for almost 18 months. He has been through the most horrific time physically. Before his accident and post, broke his leg in 2 places, smashed up his ankle. Spent 3 months in a hospital bed. This time last year was in a hospital bed in his front room, not able to get out of it. Hasn't played a single round of proper competitive golf since. So to turn up in one of the toughest fields going and to be able to compete is nothing less than miraculous. And to be 2 shots off the lead playing his 11th hole already, I think, is way beyond what anybody could have expected. And a lot of people are already going to be starting to dream that if he can just hang around, like that's all he's got to do here. Like, Tiger Woods is not going to win this like he did 25 years ago and beat the field by 12 shots. It's going to be a hang around and somehow hope that the presence of Tiger Woods on Sunday leads the others to fall away, as it did in 2019. Now, even for that to happen, I think it's a million miles away, but this is such a promising start. The turtleneck, nobody can get away with a turtleneck. Not even Tiger Woods in his physical shape. I like the colour. The colour is nice. The azalea is nice. But turtlenecks, not for me, pal.
He
Richie.
made the turtlenecks.
No.
Turtlenecks worked for him in 2019. And
No,
they're
even
working
then
for him today.
it didn't. I don't know why. He has the worst fashion sense
Yeah.
I have ever seen for somebody who gets paid that amount of money to wear clothes for a living.
Oof. There's several footballers who would possibly beat that rap. Definitely.
But this is what he's wearing when he's out on the course. Even at least with Poulter and people like that, it's part of their gig. They're sort of, they're trying to get a little bit of attention with it, like Ricky Fowler. But he's just dressing normally to go out and play, and it is shocking. But listen, that's not what he really made his name on. The leaderboard then, I'll bring you up to date with it because there is quite a bit of quality. Play started half an hour late. There's been an awful lot of rain around Augusta. It looks as though it's going to be clear for the next 3 days, but that the wind may get up a little bit. So it does look as though scoring is going to be pretty tough over the next few days. There's 6 players tied for the lead at the moment. That includes 2 former winners in Charles Schwartzel and Danny Willis. 2 of the best players in the world right now in Cam Smith and the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler. Joaquin Niemann, who is a winner at Riviera already this year and a player who has sort of been slightly under the radar, but definitely one who a lot of people were looking at. And Sung Jae Im, who is another one of the best young talents in golf. So while half the field are yet to go out and we're yet to see Rory McIlroy, already the cream is rising to the top. Woods is on level par. Matsuyama, the defending champions, on level par. Bryson DeChambeau is on 1 over through 10. Harrington got us all a little bit excited earlier on. He got to 1 under par at a time when 1 under par was in the lead. As I said, holding an absolute monster putt early in his round, 67-footer. Dropped back late on, finished on 2 over, 74, but that's not going to be bad, I suspect, come 1 o'clock in the morning when Richie's eventually finishing up on the laptop. And Shane Lowry's also on 2 over par after 12, and I've seen quite a bit of Lowry. I don't know how much you've seen, Joe, but strangely for Shane Lowry, seems that it's his short game that's letting him down.
Yeah, very unlike him. You don't know, is that nerves, maybe like, your feel deserts you when you're feeling the tension a touch. Cam Smith, by the way, started with double bogey. So his score is all the more impressive when you consider he must be nervous, because a lot of people, I'd slightly leaning towards him myself.
Well, Joe, if you listened in last Thursday night, because Thursday night is now our Meaningful Metrics night, John Duggan's going to be along later to look ahead to the Grand National and the Meaningful Metrics around that. Last week, I did the Meaningful Metrics behind a Masters winner. So looked at the various trends through the years and went from 91 down to be left with just one golfer, and Cam Smith was the last man standing. He's not too old, he's not too young, he's not a rookie, he's played it the right amount of times. He's in fine form this season. He won the Players, he's won twice. He has previous at Augusta, he has played this course, he has finished inside the top 5. He has done everything you would want of a player leading into this to put himself into position. Now, it is still not even halfway through day 1, but it does look as though Cam Smith is going to be there for a while.
I agree. He's good in the wind as well. The windier it gets is going to suit him, his style of play. Neiman hold from the 9th fairway, but he's playing with Woods. So that explains his rise to the top somewhat. So, look, it's bubbling away really nicely. And like, how does McIlroy handle the wind? He's last out, a long day waiting. He's also wearing azalea, Richie. You'll be interested to hear, I'm sure.
Delighted.
How does that happen?
Nike say...
Well, Adidas used to do that.
They didn't text each other.
Adidas used to do that for years, and they put all their players wearing the exact same thing, and it was incredibly confusing on the TV coverage. But surely, when it's Rory and Tiger, you don't want them wearing the exact same colour.
They've done that before, though, haven't they? With them too.
They do it, because then you're guaranteed, whoever's getting insufficient TV coverage, someone else going to pick up the slack. Today is Azalea Day, and we're getting Azalea on the TV one way or another. If he's wearing FootJoys, we're picking his top. That's what Nike said. I can't believe he's still wearing FootJoys, by the way. That is just... I'd say Phil Knight's crying, weeping as we watch the first round unfold.
I was making this point in Golf Weekly. So, understandably, when it came to Nike clubs, as players moved, that they would ask for a replica, as close as they could get to their previous clubs, a manufacturer who had decades of experience, or maybe even bring the engineers and the technicians over so they could get as close as possible. Nike makes shoes. That's their gig. That is their gig. And Tiger Woods has said, actually, because I've got a bad leg, they're not comfortable enough.
Well, he said in the press conference, a lack of support. He used the phrase, there's a lack of support, and thanked everyone at Nike. How long would it take Nike to make Woods some special shoes? Clearly too long.
Calm down, lads. Calm down. He's one shot better off than Bernhard Langer.
Yeah, but Bernhard Langer's bloody good on a Thursday at the Masters. And also, the whole... maybe having his leg amputated first tournament back thing. We have to remember this is it's insane. This is exceptional. This is beyond belief what he is doing. Even if he misses the cut and he just plays, already I'm kind of excited for the summer now, and we're going to see him at St Andrews. He's going to be competitive, but you'd almost be certain already he's going to make the weekend. This is outrageous. I think 99% of other players turn up here, miss the cut, and everybody says, well, what do you expect?
There are other golfers out there like Seamus Power on literally the same score as Tiger. Producer Mick is saying this is actually too much. How could it be too much? It's the opening night of the Masters and Tiger Woods is back and playing well.
Seamus Power's played about 2 holes. I mean, there's a chance me or you could be par. Even. Yeah, we might be level
bad
par
production. This is bad production from you, Mick. This
Yeah.
is the one night of the year this is allowed. Richie, what else have you got?
Oh, God, yeah, sorry, I forgot I was here. Yeah, there is football on tonight as well, by the way. West Ham playing a first European quarter-final since 1981. They welcome Lyon to the London Stadium in the first leg of their Europa League last day tie. Elsewhere, Rangers are in Portugal to play Braga. Tonight's other 8 o'clock kickoff sees Barcelona away to Eintracht Frankfurt, and they're well into the second half in the other game in Germany tonight, where it's RB Leipzig 1, Atalanta 1. And in the Conference League quarter-finals, Leicester entertain PSV Eindhoven. And just another football note as well, the Republic of Ireland women's team have gotten a notice of what awaits them next week in the World Cup qualifiers. Sweden, their next opponents in Gothenburg next Tuesday, have beaten Georgia in Tbilisi by 15 goals to nil, 1-5 to zip. So Sweden are far and away on top of the group.
The Republic of Ireland got 11 goals against Georgia, so listen, 11 to 15, really it's not that much of a difference. We're going to have that game live, by the way, on Tuesday. Kicks off at 5:30, so we'll be online on OTB Sports Radio from 5:30 if you want to tune into that. Philippe Auclair coming up after 9 o'clock. We're going to be talking about Karim Benzema after his hat-trick last night. There's a certain guilt, Joe, of not realising just how great Karim Benzema was until the last 6 months, and the body of work he has put in, obviously completely overshadowed by Cristiano Ronaldo. But there's an argument that up there with Mo Salah right now that this guy's the best player in the world. He can do the back heel before he scored the first goal when they were on the break. Just the confidence he's playing with. It's sort of otherworldly at the moment.
Yeah, phenomenal. Is he getting better? Is that the general sense of Benzema?
It does feel that way. Like John Giles would always say midfielders should always get better. And like Modric last night again is still mid-30s, running the show in a Champions League quarter-final. But you can understand as a midfielder because it is all about movement and space and positioning. For a forward, you would have always thought that the pace was such a key factor, but like, his movement seems better than ever.
I suppose if they're able to monitor them better, they're better and manage them better. Like we're seeing so many strikers, Zlatan to Ronaldo to, I guess, Messi to an extent, performing so brilliantly into their late 30s that if they can physically maintain these players, it does follow that they should improve with age with regard to movement and sensing where to be in the box and the timing of those runs. You know, you learn as you go on. But even just the quality of the first header in particular last night was utterly outrageous. And yeah, some of those touches around midfield just looks so confident, looks so assured, probably is enjoying being the main man, which he very much is. So I guess it probably hasn't hurt him to not have played for France over the last couple of years as well. But bloody hell, that what he did against PSG was nuts, and then last night is another notch again.
The Newsround brought to you with GilletteUK Labs for an effortless finish to your day. Our lads always do well on Masters Thursday. It'll all fall apart. He's basically the new Freddie Couples. I'm not worried. Well, why would you be worried? What's to worry about? It's going to ruin your weekend. Going to ruin your weekend if Tiger contends.
He's taken the field versus Tiger Woods, that texter, which was a brave bet. That is my worry though as well. I think I think in 2 hours' time Tiger could look fairly tired walking up that 18th.
So let's enjoy it while we can, is what you're saying.
Potentially, yeah.
Where to next, Richie?
To the Etihad, Manchester City are facing fresh allegations regarding direct connections to the United Arab Emirates government. Der Spiegel claimed that the Abu Dhabi government have directly inflated sponsorship deals. They also say former manager Roberto Mancini received a significant part of his salary while at the club via a fictitious consultancy contract. Furthermore, it's claimed City illegally pressured underage players to sign for the club with financial incentives. City were banned from the Champions League for 2 years in 2020, but later had that suspension overturned due to the time elapsed since the alleged breaches of financial fair play.
We're going to touch on this with Philippe Auclair as well, but obviously more and more information starting to come out ahead of a huge game for Manchester City on Sunday, so we'll touch on that with Philippe. Shane Lowry's just Eagle 13. Back to level par.
Wow, needed that.
He certainly did. So Shane Lowry just 2 shots off the lead now. More on financial fair play and I guess all this linked in and around Manchester City as well, Richie.
Yeah, they've shifted the goalposts somewhat in Neon. Clubs will soon face a cap on wages after UEFA approved a new squad cost rule. It's part of a wider sustainability regulations voted through to replace the previous financial fair play system. Transfers and agent fees will also be limited to 70% of a side's revenue, with that figure set after a 3-year gradual increase. And UEFA President Alexander-Arnold says it will be at least another month before decisions made about plans to change the Champions League qualification route. A number of managers have spoken out against proposals which would allow teams to enter the competition based on historical performance. UEFA's passed reforms to limit club spending today, but is yet to decide if Russia will be banned from this summer's Women's European Championships.
This is a monster weekend ahead of us. We have Exeter against Munster live here on Off the Ball on Saturday evening. We have Manchester City against Liverpool live on Sunday. We got a full round of Champions Cup last 16 games. We have got the Masters. It is one of those weekends where if you can stay on the couch, do stay on the couch. Team news starting to come in, Richie, for the Champions Cup.
Yeah, indeed, for that big game tomorrow night at the Sports Ground. Jonathan Sexton returning to the Leinster starting 15 for the Heineken Champions Cup last 16, first leg away to Connacht. He partners Luke McGrath in the 3 quarters. They replace Ross Byrne and Jemison Gibson Park. There's an all-new tight 5 from last week's win over Munster. Cian Healy, Dan Sheehan and Tyke Furlong return to the front row, with Ross Maloney and Josh Murphy packing down behind them. Bundy Aki will start in the Connacht midfield for the first time since before the Six Nations, and into the pack come Gavin Thornbury and Jared Butler.
Champions Cup is difficult to follow these days, Joe, for some of it out of their own hands with all the COVID issues. 2-legged last 16 games.
Yeah, most pundits we've spoken to in the show are against it. I'm not so sure. I think maybe it could add something, like, for instance, Ulster going to Toulouse. If that was a one-legged affair, you would say, well, no chance. Now Ulster are still massively up against it, but at least there is a degree on Saturday of saying, well, you know, if Munster stay within 10 or 12, then is that enough to go back to Belfast with? And it adds another layer, potentially. I mean, we'll have to see how it all plays out. There's obviously the possibility of some dead rubber games in the second leg, but that's true of any sport. I guess this is the tournament. The group stages haven't been very exciting of late, and this is supposedly the payoff. So it's going to be interesting to see if it captures the imagination. And look, I think there, not as many people in this country, for instance, have BT Sport either. I think is a reality, and so it's disappeared in some respects from a lot of people's TV screens from the halcyon days, where more people had Sky and Munster were going well and Leinster were making their first forays. So look, I'm kind of worried about this tournament, I have to be honest. I feel it is dwindling just based on anecdotal interest levels, conversation, texts into the show, all that kind of stuff. And like, needless to say, unlike the French clubs and the English clubs, were the Heineken Champions Cup to dwindle further, that would make the Irish club rugby landscape very tepid, to say the least. So I hope it kind of catches fire again. And look, Friday night, Sports Ground, be great, full house. Connacht's defence is their big issue. Can they hold out Leinster is the question. And then Munster going to Exeter is interesting as well. You'd expect Exeter maybe to win, but Munster to be within touching distance going back to Thomond. So let's see how it goes. I mean, they need these knockout stages to like I said, capture the imagination a touch more than the pool stages.
We're going to have to leave it there for the news round. Richie, thank you.
Nice, lads.
Joe, thank you as always.
Cheers, lads. See ya.
Latest in the golf then, before we go to ads, is Cam Smith has got to 3 under par alongside Sung Jae Im. As we mentioned, Shane Lowry, an eagle on 13. He's on level par alongside Tiger Woods. Seamus Powers just dropped back to 1 over. Padraig Harrington in the clubhouse on 2 over par. Time for the cash machine.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
21 grand for Kevin in Burr today when he answered Barry's call with the correct amount, having played the cash machine for the first time. There is a new amount up for grabs tonight. The number to remember is 10,000.